Okay, let's use factoring a difference of cubes or sum of cubes to solve a cubic polynomial equation. So what we're going to do is go ahead and factor this based on the difference of cubes property that we have. Remember, we understand that 8x cubed is 2x quantity cubed, and 1 is 1 cubed. And so if we are to solve this equation, we need to factor this and then set each of those factors equal to 0, just like we did with solving quadratic equations. What we cannot do is, we're not going to use cube roots to solve, because we're basically going to just get ourselves one answer, just the real answer. And we've got to make sure to get not just the real answers, but the complex solutions as well. So here, what we're going to do is write that in factored form. So here, this would be 2x minus 1, same sign. This was minus, so we're going to have minus. Inside the parentheses, we've got 2x squared, which is 4x squared. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Opposite sign, so plus 2x times 1, that's 2x's, and then always positive 1 times 1 gives us 1. And this, in factored form, is equal to 0. Right? Well, we know how to handle these. When we have two factors that multiply to give us 0, the zero product property says that if these two things multiply to give us 0, then that means we can solve this equation and we can solve this equation. Set each of those factors equal to 0 and solve them separately. Over here, this is easy Algebra 1 work. Add 1 on both sides, divide by 2, and we've got ourselves a solution, all right? This is the solution that we would get if we solve this algebraically. Add 1 on both sides, divide by 8, take the cube root, okay? The cube root of 1/8 is 1/2. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, times another 1/2 is 1/8. So we would get this solution if we solved algebraically, but this is x to the 3rd power, so we need to have 3 zeros, okay? 3 roots. Now, to solve this, this can't be factored. There are no factors of 4 that add up to 2, so we can do this a couple different ways. We can solve by completing the square, we can solve by graphing, that's not actually going to work here, or we can solve by the quadratic formula. I'm going to use quadratic formula because I think that we're most comfortable with that. So here we'll say x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So that means we've got x is equal to -2 plus or minus 4 minus 16 over 8. That gives us -2 plus or minus the square root of -12 over 8. See, this wouldn't work solved by graphing because I have the square root of a negative. I've got complex roots here. So this is going to get a little bit messy, but that's all right. We can handle it. We already did this section. So -2 plus or minus, there's a -4 factor in there, so I'm going to say 2i radical 3 over 8. All right. Now this fraction can be simplified to tell us that x is equal to -1 plus or minus I radical 3 all over 4. These are our 3 solutions. X to the 3rd power is going to give us 3 solutions. This is a real solution, which for a cubic function you should always have at least one real solution. And then here we have 2 complex solutions, all right? -1 plus I radical 3 over 4 and -1 minus I radical 3 over 4. All right, so this is how you solve a difference of cubes equation using factoring.